Well, call me Hank Wimbledon because I'll be taking on each and every last one of you myself. Hello again. Carmen Ryder here.
Bookworm Green here.
Virga here.
Carmen Shocker here.
Kid Blue here.
And Libra here back with another commentary.
So, seems someone didn't learn their lesson. But now no one asked is an Aquared level threat. Hence why I invited the whole cast here. The video is titled, Just a Robot, Racism, Accountability, Responding to the Prismate Luke video, Part 1.
Wasn't the video you covered the Part 1?
What kind of Xbox level shit is that?
I wouldn't say Xbox, more is it Western release Final Fantasy.
Speaking of which, it's a good thing we have Libra here, so that way she can't play identity politics even if she tried.
I mean, it didn't work for Shaman's fans, so it's not gonna work here.
Anyways,
Let's get into it!
Okay, so this is coming out way later than expected.
Oh, so is this video. It's still gonna debunk your shit though.
My job has been crazy, and I haven't really had any time to work on a video, let alone draw.
You should stick to drawing.
So I'm gonna have to break this up into 2 parts and reuse my old footage because I really don't have any time to myself anymore.
Why not just play a game and use that as footage? It's not that hard.
Hi, Future Me here. I need to mention that I forgot to do the fun, little fun quirky thing you're supposed to do. And actually speed up the speed paint. In the way iMovie is set up, I can't really speed it up without displacing all 400 audio clips. So y'all are stuck with me coloring slow as crap in real time, and
Then just use Filmora, or some other PC editing software. Who the fuck uses iMovie?
Better yet uses an Apple device in 2021.
the last time I used iMovie was in a computer lab in high school.
I recommend doing something else while this video plays, and I'll play this noise when I need y'all to read something on screen.
Well, we suggest not doing that because this is a video, not a podcast. I get some people listen to commentaries rather than watching them, but still, given how we're showing things on screen, then you need to use your eyes as well as your ears.
Anyway, I've been going back and forth on whether or not to really talk about this situation for the longest time.
That would be a hard no.
Like, it always bothered me, but I could never really bring myself to talk about it,
Then why not just do another topic? Didn't you have another topic set up? Something about Genshin Impact?
Something about racism and Genshin Impact or something.
In that case, Staker goes advice and stick to drawing.
But as I said in my last video, Just Robot's trying to create a new narrative that he's a victim.
Even though he is? Not on the same level as Peaches, might I mind you, but a victim nonetheless.
And that the racism accusations were debunked.
Which they were.
And I refuse to let that happen. Even if I'm talking to the void, I just need to get my personal opinion out.
You don't need to get your opinion out. You want to.
I feel like Jar's response video to Prismate Luke and its positive reception plays into a much bigger problem with how the overall commentary community treats racism.
Ah yes, the everyone who doesn't agree with me is racist card. When has that ever worked?
More specifically, how they treat anti-black racism.
Even though they're all people in the CC who are black.
And I feel like the Prismate Luke video is the perfect starting point.
Glad to know he's the root of all our problems.
But before I get into the video, let me give a quick summary. A few months ago, a commentary channel by the name Prismate Luke created the video Just Robot's Just Racist. The video, as you can guess, called out Jar for his racist actions.
And as we saw with my video on Luke's video, we can see that he isn't racist, and a lot of what Luke said was taken out of context.
These actions included, but are not limited to, saying racial slurs multiple times,
To which he was quoting someone.
doing blackface,
Except it was just a black letter and not actually blackface.
defending the Confederate flag,
To which he just said that it shouldn't be censored.
and playing the Oppression Olympics with interracial and gay couples in response to an anti-racism PSA.
No, he just said that it didn't make sense for someone to be racist but not homophobic.
I went over these in my last video, so please watch it if you have the chance.
And be sure to watch Carmen's video on Prismate Luke to get the full context.
In response to Luke's video, Jar released his own video called My Response, in which he took some accountability, made excuses, and apologized. It really wasn't good in my opinion, but it was a step in the right direction, so I gave him some leeway. I'll link it in the description so you guys can form your own opinions. However, also in response to Luke's video, the commentary community did what it does best and collectively decided to defend blatant ignorance and racism.
No, we defended someone who was being slandered.
Because the community gassed him up, Jar released his awful response video called Prismate Luke's Fundamentally Flawed Video on Me. And that is the video I'm reacting to today. I'd say go watch these two videos yourselves, but according to Jar, he and Luke squashed their beef, so they're both gone. Yes, arguing with another on what is or isn't offensive to black people.
You're not
funny. Also, not all black people are offended by the same things.
Only the frolic in the sunset hand in hand when we're not looking. Yes, that's just peak allyship right there. It's not like black people are, actually affected by the things y'all are beefing about.
They're not.
And are potentially hurt by this situation.
Oh, cry me a goddamn river.
None of that, right? Yes, love this community.
Of course I do, because the sane of us don't receive a knob gobbling from white saviors.
Anyway, that's the summary. Now I need to give 3 disclaimers and then I promise we'll get started on the video.
You're 3 minutes in and haven't even gotten started. Pick up the pace.
Number 1, I'm just one singular black person, meaning I speak for myself and myself alone. Black people aren't a monolith, and this is all just my personal opinion.
Despite that at the start of the video, you tried to imply that black people, in general, were saying the same thing you were. Not to mention, you told black people who didn't agree with you to don't do that.
People don't have to agree with me, and that's fine. Just don't tell me or other black folks how to feel about anti-blackness, and we'll be good.
We're not telling you how to feel, we're telling you not to slander someone. If you don't agree with Jar saying the N-word, whatever, that's fine. But don't go around calling him racist when he isn't.
Number 2, this is not about canceling Just a Robot.
Somehow I doubt it.
This is about holding him accountable for his actions.
Yeah, it's not cancel culture. It's accountability culture.
Something this community refuses to do for whatever reason. I 100% believe people can change. But in order to do that, you have to understand why what you said was harmful to begin with. And that's something Jar is always missing.
Even though Carmen showed in the previous video that he did try to understand what he got wrong.
So while I absolutely believe that this man is a racist, I also believe that he's capable of growth. Anyone is. And number 3. While I am passionate about racism, it still hurts to be subjected to it over and over again.
But how exactly? I haven't seen any racist comments on your video, neither has Carmen.
Like, I try to, desensitize myself, but, sometimes it still stings. So to cope with that, I'm going to be using memes and this bingo sheet created by this man on Twitter.
So in order to cope, you have to demean someone to further your point. That's not a coping skill, that's called being malicious. Once it starts negatively affecting other people, it stops being a coping skill.
Okay, let's be honest here. You didn't do this to cope. You did this to further diminish Jar's arguments instead of just countering them. And no, this little text on the side isn't going to free you from criticism.
How about we read all the panels and try to see how many are bullshit?
Sounds good. Care to start us off, kid?
Freedom of speech. I mean, it is technically freedom of speech. Free speech is the reason why the CC exists. And why you're able to even make this video in the first place.
If it's so wrong, why can a black person use that word so you're admitting to hypocrisy?
My comments were misconstructed. So simply phrasing things wrong is racist now? This really do be a 1984 moment.
I don't see myself as racist. Not sure why that's inherently bad, but okay.
I'm sorry you were offended, but that wasn't my intent, so even if he does apologize, it's still bad. What do you want him to do?
I have no racism in my heart. He doesn't.
We know his heart. He's not racist. This is literally the same one as the one next to it. Your laziness is not subtle.
My word choice was unfortunate. This is literally the same as my comments were misconstructed.
Islam isn't a race. It's not a race.
Some of my best friends are black, Asian, Latino, fill in ethnicity here. Okay, this is a logical fallacy, but Jar didn't do these things.
I don't hate anyone. How does that even correlate?
I was only making a joke. Yeah, learn what a fucking joke is.
There's no racist bone in my body. This is the same as the ones we already fucking did.
It was just a terror. Can you not repeat your same squares from before?
I've dated black guys. Jar isn't gay.
My last girlfriend was Asian. When were Asians even mentioned here?
I don't see it that way. You already said that.
I was just pissed off. Are you telling me you have never said anything in the heat of the moment?
That's just reverse racist. I agree, reverse racism is just racism.
I have many black friends, you already said.
We are not the kind of people the press is saying we are. Since when has Jar been on the news?
I am being harassed and I feel unsafe. So I guess it's okay to make someone feel unsafe for saying words now.
This isn't a true reflection of who I am, yeah, it isn't.
So let's see if we can get a bingo, y'all. The prize is feeling as dead inside as I do.
What is it with SJWs and refusing to give out proper prizes? If I participate in your shit game, at least give me compensation. Dulu.
Wait, she's not here, is she?
Thankfully, no.
She did leave a comment, but it's nothing noteworthy.
Phew! I am not being pistol whipped by a crystal gem this time.
With all of that said, let's finally get into the video.
So I'm going to use my normal voice for this video because a lot of people have a hard time understanding me when I use the robot voice. And I feel like with a serious subject like this, I should use my real voice. I recently made a second apology for the whole Toby situation, and then I thought everything was finally over. Literally the next day, Prismate Luke made another video about me. Most of my videos are pretty hard to debunk or do commentaries on.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Who has been saying that?
You're not
funny.
Okay, this is a petty nitpick, but bro, just because your peers are irresponsible and didn't check you doesn't mean that your videos are hard to debunk. Trust me.
He was just saying that most of his points in his videos are decent, to which they are.
But not all of my points are perfect in every single video, and I knew one day someone would comb through a bunch of my videos and make a compilation of a lot of the things I have said.
Okay, first of all, bro, if you said so many bigoted things that people can make compilation videos, that's a you problem, that's not us.
Even though they weren't bigoted, they were just edgy and sometimes insensitive.
Like that, you need to look in the mirror. Like, I can only work with material given to me. You said these things.
Material? Like the many videos covering Luke that are still public to this day?
You're the source material. These are the consequences of your actions. Second, we're not asking you to be perfect. We're asking you to not use racial slurs and then arguing with black people about the context of the racial slur.
Even though context matters.
Now, Prismate Luke is well known for either lying about things, taking things out of context, or just giving the least charitable interpretation possible.
Okay, I'm counting that as my word choice was unfortunate.
How? He was taken out of context.
Alright, so far so bad.
He has been called out by people like Just Stop, Spoctor, and even Pyrocynical. His response to Just Stop was just god-awful, and Just Stop debunked him in the comments section. It's pretty pathetic that a 16-year-old made you this upset, Luke.
Okay, I kinda touched on this on the pinned comment of my last video, but I'm gonna be blunt. I don't care about Prismate Luke.
Then why are you using him as a source and trying to support what he says as if it were gospel? Clearly you do care about Jack of Spades Luke to a degree.
I don't, I'm sorry. He's definitely done things worthy of criticism, but I'm pretty much indifferent to him. Sorry to this man.
Sorry to this man.
You're not funny.
Also, Jar, didn't you make 2 videos on Milo Stewart when they were a teenager?
It's because Milo isn't immune to criticism nor is just stop, but it was clear that Luke's video was made out of malice and not out of genuine critic.
I know this is another nitpick, but bro, the hypocrisy.
And later, Just Stop made a follow-up video covering Luke's response to him. And in that video, Just Stop defended me from a few of the claims that Prismate Luke made about me. Now, by no means was Just Stop the first person to defend me. That would be iBullyBullies. And a lot of other smaller creators defended me as well. My personal favorite video defending me was the one made by Carmen Ryder. A link to their video along with all the other videos defending me will be linked down below. But I know what a few of you are going to say, but these guys are white. Only black people should be allowed to speak on race.
Okay, first of all, no, we're saying that only black people can speak on what is or isn't anti-black.
You just repeated what he said. Anti-blackness is racism, and racism is racism.
Non-black people will never experience anti-black racism and therefore do not have the range for this conversation.
Playing identity politics again, huh? Like Shoka said, racism is racism.
I want to say this here and now so everyone knows. No, Jar is not a racist. He said and done some stupid things and needs his motherboard updated, but he's not a racist.
Even though Prismate Luke is white and he was accusing me of being a racist in the first place, but whatever.
Okay, I'm counting this as we know his heart, he's not racist. Anyway, let me just say that this person has every right to voice their opinion on the matter. They have every right to believe Jar is not racist. Also think that Prismate Luke shouldn't speak for black people is a fair criticism. From black people. Only. Jar, you can't mock Prismate Luke for being white and speaking on race issues he's not part of when you're also white speaking on race issues you're not part of.
This, I think, was poorly worded.
If I remember correctly, he was referring to when Luke implied in his video that Jar can't speak on race issues when he's white. But in saying that, Luke is a hypocrite.
In fact, that's how you got in this situation to begin with. You keep speaking on complex topics that you don't have the range for. And it's okay not to have the range for it, like I'm ignorant about many topics myself.
Like this one? He's only in this mess because Luke put him here.
Literally, everyone is ignorant about something. That's normal. The issue lies when you choose to remain ignorant when confronted about it.
So you tell him that he'll never understand black struggles, but then get on his case for remaining ignorant.
When you start to speak over the people who live and experience the topics you're talking about, and start acting like, hey, look, X person from X group isn't offended, therefore I didn't do anything wrong, then that becomes willful ignorance and bigotry.
So by listening to the group you're defending, that's being ignorant? Learn what fucking words mean.
Well, if you feel that way, then you should check out Shady Durag's video. He's a black guy, and he's probably my oldest fan, so I would highly recommend checking out his video about me.
It bothers me so much that people just want to throw this label on this guy without actually looking at what he did. They just see a random comment and think that's good enough. You should not be trying to destroy people like that. Attacking someone's character when it has nothing to do with the argument at hand is a cowardly tactic that has worked too well over the past decade and needs to stop.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You're not funny.
Okay, Shady Durag, I get that's your boy and all, and you have every right to defend him. But bro, don't do that. Don't do that.
What? Didn't you say that black people have a proper say in this? Oh, right, it only applies to blacks who agree with you.
And she better not tell me to don't do that if she doesn't want to catch the blunt end of my staff.
Y'all remember my last video where I talked about how some of Jar's black subscribers like to police other black folks' feelings?
No, they're just giving their own opinion on the matter.
This is what I'm talking about. Because remember, he said people, so he's not just talking about Prismate Luke, he's referring to anyone who feels this way about Jar.
Yeah, because all the people who feel this way can't tell the difference between feelings and hate speech.
And that is the first way to piss me off, because what do I always say? Do not tell me how to feel about racism.
If it's slandering someone I care about, then I don't care that it makes you mad.
Like, we can agree to disagree, but don't act like we're crazy because we feel a way about Jar and that we don't know what we're talking about.
If you don't agree with Jar, then fine, whatever. But if you're out here slandering him and calling him racist, then I have every right to tell you off.
This isn't just a one-off tweet or a one-off comment. This is a repeated pattern of behavior over the course of multiple years.
Then why did you only call it out now?
This man used a black avatar to mock black people.
You mean black supremacists? Supremacy is that no matter who it's directed to.
He compared associating the Confederate flag with races to associating black people with crime.
No, he was pointing out how some people using the flag to do bad things and using that as a straw man didn't work.
He made that dumpster fire video with Trio Logic because he couldn't stay out of black folks' business for 5 seconds.
You mean he gave his opinion?
We call each other the N-word, but get vehemently upset when a white person uses the N-word.
I completely agree. I hate hypocrisy. So on my YouTube channel, white people are free to use the N-word just like black people are freely using it. Equality for all. Yay!
It drains my soul to hear the word, and I just don't understand how people who have any understanding of history can use that word.
Oh my god. So at first I thought you were going for, if black people can say the word nigga, then white people should also be able to use the word.
He wasn't calling anyone it, so this is irrelevant.
Nigga, then white people should also be able to use the word. But now I see you're saying that no one should. What do you want, the word to be illegalized? You know what? Just for that, everybody type in the chat that Alex is a stupid... I have just been informed by my lawyer that I should not finish that sentence.
Why is my natural hair, the hair that grows out of my head, seen as a political statement?
Girl, you made that shit up. There is nothing...
Since fucking when?
There is nothing political about a black woman having natural hair. As a matter of fact, you will not find one black woman who's in politics having natural hair like yours or mine. Oh, by the way, All of this is mine.
I'll fucking take it for dealing with this crap. Your biggest skills are short.
Mine. I've been natural since 1996. It wasn't a political statement back then, and it's not a political statement today.
Why do we think people with light skin look better than people with dark skin?
This is a pretty broad question.
What the fuck is colorism?
And how the fuck do you expect him to understand if you can't even elaborate?
But Carmen, don't you know? Giving the opposing side the benefit of the doubt doesn't fit her white people bad narrative.
As if that wasn't obvious enough already.
And if you're a day one like Jar said, then you know all of this. In fact, I saw you in the comment section below these videos, so I know you're aware.
Yeah, we are aware. Hence why we know Jar isn't racist.
If you're not offended by these things, great, more power to you. But don't act like your friend having consequences for his actions is us trying to destroy him.
Of course she tries to use the accountability culture argument.
As always, I implore everyone to watch the video yourself to form your own opinion, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. That whole shady do-rag portion gave me a lot of I have many black friends, and some of my black friends are black, Asian, Latino, fill-in ethnicity here. But he didn't exactly say it, so I'm not going to add it.
But let me guess. Because he disagrees with you, he's not a real black man, and he doesn't speak for all black people. Well, of course he doesn't speak for all black people. No one does. But it's pretty racist to take away someone's black card just because they disagree with you.
You're not funny.
You can tell she knows it's targeted at people like...
This man.
You didn't even counter his argument.
But unlike a lot of people accusing me of things, Shady actually makes an argument. And he actually knows what the definition of racism is.
You ever feel so done that you just feel your soul leave your body?
We all do.
You heard it here, folks. If you make accusations toward this man based on his words and his actions, you don't know what racism is.
That's not what he said, but okay.
And you know what? Maybe Jar's right. Maybe I don't know what racism is.
Yep.
After all, I'm just a black woman who lives in the southern United States in Trump's America.
And Gorman is a Latina trans-pan woman who also lives in the South in Trump's America. Yet she's perfectly fine. Also, Trump isn't even president anymore, so it's not like anything he does matters anyways.
So what the heck do I know, right?
Yes.
A lot of people in the commentary community want people to change for the better, and to work on themselves. But Prismate Luke just seems like a guy who wants to take people down and not give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he made a video on me the day after I apologized.
Okay, so a couple things. One, Prismate Luke is a white man, so your apology to minorities isn't his to accept.
You're not funny.
Also, you don't have to accept Jar's apology, but still, Luke is a liar. And you believed a liar. And you spread said lies of a liar. If you don't accept his apology, don't. Don't go around telling everyone he's a racist when he isn't.
Two, I know this happened like way into the future, but I, along with many others, gave you the benefit of the doubt until you showed your ass in Emily's comment section.
You mean when he talked about Creepshow art? He didn't even say any slurs there. You just started an argument with him for no reason.
So, like, look how that worked out for us. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, still shame on you because you fooled me twice.
You were still fooled, weren't you? So shame on you. But mostly shame on you for slandering just a robot.
3, as far as I know, the Hopeless Peaches isn't a Peach video is gone.
Unlisted, actually.
So, if there was an apology in there, honey, I missed it. All I have to work on right now is the My Response video.
Which also had an apology.
Side tangent, but in my personal opinion, the My Response video is an almost halfway decent apology. And yes, while that certainly is not good, it's still better than what we're watching right now. Had Jar never released this video, I think a lot of people would still be a lot more lenient with him, myself included.
And that's the video I'm going to be covering today. Just a robot is just a racist.
And we're just in general toxic. It was just blatant homophobia and racism, hidden under the mask of freedom of speech. And although there are a lot of channels now that had that phase, a lot of them grew out of it, but Jar didn't.
I completely disagree. I jumped off the whole anti-SJW bandwagon before the big downfall started happening. Granted, I did jump off not for any moral reason, but just because I was bored originally.
Sir, what? It doesn't matter if you don't consider yourself a anti-SJW anymore if you still hold a lot of those same ignorant beliefs.
They were never ignorant.
I love how the common argument is he's grown and changed, but even he admitted that the only reason he changed his content because he was bored.
Okay, but he still changed. Not sure why you'd consider that a loss.
So, like, had he not been bored, he would still be making this content. What? And I want people to remember, a lot of this content he re-uploaded to his new channel. So it's like, if you don't agree with it, why would you upload it?
He didn't say he no longer agreed with it, he just said he's moved on from the movement. Not sure how one can just move on from a political ideology, but he did it either way.
But I have done videos on anti-SJWs like No Bullshit, and I did a video called The Fall of the Anti-SJW Community, which Prismate Luke does show a clip of without any audio in his video. So I know for a fact that he has seen it.
Jar is a remnant of that era of YouTube, a person who thinks having the unpopular opinion makes it the right and cool one.
What? No, I absolutely do not think that at all. Granted, I do think having the unpopular opinion is a lot cooler than just following the crowd. But I have never said an unpopular opinion automatically makes you right. That is a straight up lie.
Luke never said that you said that having an unpopular opinion makes it the right and cool one.
He did. Did you not hear his exact words?
He was providing a brief description of what anti-SJW was. He never said nor replied that it was a direct quote.
Yeah, he never said it was a direct quote, but he implied that that's what Jar thought he was.
Also, Jar somewhat agreed with what Luke said, so what was the point?
He didn't. He said that having an unpopular opinion can make you cooler, but it doesn't make you instantly right.
Like, he created a whole counter-argument in response to agreeing with the original argument. Does that make sense? Also, can we talk about how, in this specific context, following the crowd means being against racism and homophobia?
Which just a robot is against. Those just use it to make up issues that don't exist.
So it's like, maybe don't admit that you think the opposite is cooler? And I know I'm nitpicking, but it's like, bro, you have editors. Like, you pay your editors to edit your videos. How did no one catch this?
And I feel like he cherry-picked my video over the guy that he made a video on, Kai's, for two reasons. One, to say that I took things out of context, because I edit down my videos for the sake of time.
Wow, that's a pretty lame excuse, Luke. You just cut out a few seconds to save just a little bit of time.
Okay, so I'm gonna be skipping around a lot because, again, only care about the race stuff, don't really care about Luke. But the clip I played just now is gonna be very important for later. Remember, Jar criticized Luke for cutting seconds trying to save time.
Not what he was saying. That's Luke's excuse for when people confronted him over leaving out context.
Which is a fair criticism, but I need y'all to remember.
Now we are finally getting into the parts where Prismate Luke is calling me a racist, at long last.
And the funniest part to me is that it's really easy to find it all. In fact, it started off like this. One of his first videos was on the Confederate flag, where the video just boils down to the flag isn't racist because there were black slave owners, and that just because a few racists use the flag, it doesn't make it racist.
No, that's not what my whole argument boils down to in any way, shape, or form. And I did say this about the Confederate flag.
I just want to make something very clear. I am not a fan of the Confederate flag. However, I do think censoring it will make things worse.
And this about the American flag.
Technically, the American flag is a symbol of racism. Under that flag, Americans have killed several Native Americans. Put Japanese people in internment camps just because they were Japanese. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
This is the closest example I could find to me calling the Confederate flag not racist, even though I didn't say it once in the video.
Bro, it doesn't matter if you never said it exactly. You still made a whole video defending people's right to use the Confederate flag.
No, he just said it shouldn't be censored. We can't learn from history if we erase it. Also, just because he defends it doesn't mean that he 100% agrees with it.
Something that is considered a symbol of hate to many black people, myself included. Talking about, I don't support the flag, but here's the reason why people should be allowed to support the flag.
Yeah, stop censoring history.
As usual, I implore everyone to watch the video for yourselves and form your own opinions. Always fact check the content you're consuming.
Fucking irony.
Also, I've been informed by someone, shout out to you, that Jar gained access to his old channel back and has since deleted this video. Which is good, because in my personal opinion, this is the worst video he's ever made.
If he privated the video, then what the fuck are you even crying about?
For reasons I'll get into in a bit. But I still want to talk about the flag video because as you can see, Jar is still defending it and like, nah, not today, no. Absolutely not. However, to be fair to him, this Prismate Luke video that we're watching was made months ago. So, since then, Jar could have very well educated himself, no longer stood by the flag video, and decided to remove it. Which, if true, I applaud him for. Good on you, bro. Keep up the good work. So for the sake of my responses, I'm going to carry on as normal, but please keep in mind that Jar could have very well changed his opinion.
I'm just trying to point out that the Confederate flag, while it can be a symbol of racism, it doesn't have to be, just like with the American flag. No nation or flag is perfect, and they all have a bit of a dark history behind them. All I did was mention there were black slave owners, and that's about it.
Okay. Why'd you have to bring that up?
You're not funny.
Seriously, like, why'd you have to bring that up? We know there are black slave owners. We know there are black people who fought for the Confederacy. Like, that doesn't mitigate anything we say.
Because in the video Fakes was claiming that people were trying to whitewash America's dark history.
Slaves and former slaves trying to navigate a system they were forced into and had no say in doesn't make the flag less racist. And to be clear, that's the reason this argument was created. It's a common racist talking point. Well, black people did too, so slavery wasn't that bad. The Confederacy wasn't that bad. Like, bro.
You're not funny.
Also, if you're fucking gonna fucking tell someone to shut the fuck up, then have the fucking balls to fucking say the fucking word fuck.
And I'm in no way saying that's what Jar meant or that's how he felt, because I truly don't think he did. But this is part of the reason why I still think this is his worst video to date. Knowingly or not, intentional or not, he used racist talking points to defend a hate symbol.
I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Like, I can't put into words how this flag makes me feel. Like, what Southern pride to you is just reminder that I was once property.
You specifically were property. You must be very old then. No wonder you missed just a robot's points that hard.
That I was considered 3/5 of a person. And I know I'm going to get comments talking about how I'm being dramatic or how it's not that deep.
Because you are, and it's not.
But like, bro, for me it is. Like, black lynchings are still a thing here.
Since fucking when?
Sundown towns are still a thing here. Like, and that flag encompasses all of that for me. And I'm going to be completely transparent with y'all. I was planning on breaking down Jar's comment about Dylan Roof and like why calling him a Boy Scout who did something very, very wrong completely mitigates the severity of who he was and what he did. Because that to me is the main reason why this is Jar's worst video. But I literally cannot talk about this subject without crying. Like,
wait, you're actually gonna start crying? Good, that's hilarious.
Yeah, someone gonna cry.
What, are you gonna cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me. Come on, cry.
like, I tried on multiple separate occasions to try to talk about this, but like, I just can't. Like, I can't. Trust me, I tried and tried, but I just cannot do it.
Then why not just drop this topic entirely?
Normally I can desensitize myself, but that tragedy just always gets to me, so I'll just leave a link to what I'm referring to in the description box.
Alright, let's look.
Okay, so the articles she linked were related to the Charleston church shooting and the court hearings about the shooter. One article from CNN, and the other from Washington Post.
And as the 6 of us read, the shooter, who shall remain unnamed in this video, did have racist motivations. However, we failed to see what this has to do with the Confederate flag, as it's not even mentioned here.
Anyway, back to the video.
You do this a lot, actually. You take one point from someone and say this is what the whole video boils down to. Not once in a video did I say the Confederate flag isn't racist.
Again, it doesn't matter if you never said it verbatim if you still made a whole video defending it.
Just because you defend something doesn't mean you support it 100%.
Comparing it to swastika, because it was used before Hitler, when the main point of those symbols and how they represent stuff is, a lot of racists use it as their symbol.
Yes, that's true, but I mostly made the point about the history of the swastika and showing clips from Gaijin Goomba to make this point later on in the video.
The word swastika is broken down into 3 words in Sanskrit. Su, meaning good, asti, meaning to be, and ka, meaning one's soul. So all together now, well-being of the soul. It was a symbol of luck, peace, and prosperity amongst many different regions and religions, spanning its origins back to the Bronze Age. Buddhists and Hindus of Asia, Africans, Armenians, Greeks, Baltics, Slavics, even the good old USA used the swastika in one positive fashion or another.
When use something as a racist symbol, it's got to be a pretty racist symbol.
Like the swastika. Oh no, wait, no.
Do racists use these symbols? Absolutely.
Okay, so that's nice and all, but you see the problem with that argument is the two aren't the same. The Confederate flag doesn't have the religious or multicultural footprint that the swastika has. It wasn't a peace symbol that was hijacked centuries later. It has always stood for treachery and racism, like the flag was pro-slavery upon its inception. The people who support that flag support keeping black people's literal property.
Which Jar still doesn't support the flag, he just doesn't think it should be censored.
Like, that's the reason why a lot of us hate it and racists love it. That's the reason white supremacists worldwide represent it. It stands for anti-blackness. And this isn't new information, like black activists have been saying this from jump. Everything the fuck hate video said, they got from black folks.
Despite the fact that only one of the kids in the video is black.
Was the video a bit cringy at times? Sure, yeah, but there were still some valid arguments in there. And like I said before, Jar removed the flag video off his channel, so he most likely doesn't stand by it or hold these same beliefs.
Then why did you bring it up?
But I still feel the need to talk about this because, y'all, this Prismate Luke video got like overwhelming positive reception.
I thought you didn't care about Luke.
Like, I specifically remember it having something like 600 dislikes and 4,000 likes. And the top comments were positive in Jar's favor, so the community co-signed this mess.
As they should.
Oh, that's not all. That's not even the worst part. He has a video. He has multiple videos where he just says the hard R multiple times. One of them's during his Rice Gum and iDubbbz video, and I could dig up more if I wanted to make sure I don't get monetized. But here they are. Enjoy.
Oy vey, I knew this would come up one day. I said it years ago on my old channel, and I don't think I have said it on my current channel, at least as far as I'm aware.
Okay, another nitpick, but the fact that he cannot say for certain that he did not say the N-word on his current channel is very concerning.
How so? He has no definite answer.
Many other YouTubers have used the word, such as Mr. Beast, PewDiePie. There's a 2-minute compilation video of Pyrocynical saying it. Turkey Tom has said it. Keemstar has said it. Jake Paul has said it.
You're not funny.
Okay, and like, all y'all can be in the wrong together.
They can, but they're not. Why even focus on Jar if you can talk about those other people?
Oh my god. It was wrong when they said it, and it's wrong when you said it.
Then why not talk about all those YouTubers?
This comes off as everyone else is doing it, so why am I the only one getting trouble for it?
Exactly, if everyone else gets to, then why is only just a robot getting the backlash?
Which isn't true because black people calling them out as well.
For PewDiePie, it was a faceless news organization. For everyone else, it didn't happen.
Also, like, Jar really said, if I'm going down, all y'all motherfuckers are going down with me, and I...
Yeah, if I break a rule that you're also breaking and only I get caught, I'm gonna take you down too. I'm not suffering alone. That's not what Jar did, but if he did, then it's only understandable.
My gosh.
Granted, those last 3 really aren't good examples at all. But I ultimately don't think it's really bad to say a racial slur as long as you don't call someone it.
That doesn't make no sense. My man.
You're not
funny.
Also, she doesn't even make a point to you, so this interaction was pointless.
I was just quoting iDubbbz and another guy, and I've only said the hard R N-word in one video as far as I'm aware. I think I said the GA N-word in a few other videos, but on my current channel I haven't said it, at least as far as I'm aware.
Yo, I'm trying so hard to be, like, constructive and, like, be insightful, but it's like, the clown, like, bro, no, no. A slur is still a slur regardless of the context or intention.
It's the intent, not the word. Are you gonna get on the case of all the gay people who use the word queer? Because according to you, a slur is a slur.
If you're not part of the group it was created to dehumanize, just don't say it. It's not yours to use or dictate the usage of, just don't say it.
Nigga, 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 nigga. Cry me a river.
Of course Prismate Luke had to lie about this to make me look worse than I really am.
Jar, I guarantee you, no one can do that better than you. Trust me, you are your own worst enemy.
Which, as we saw in Carmen's video, Luke was lying about stuff and taking things out of context.
Everybody has a different standard for racism. If you think I'm racist for just using the N-word, then that's fine. I can't really remove it because that account got hacked. And I understand that word does have history, so I don't call black people that word. Unless, of course, they're cool with me using the GA with them. But could you at least look up the definition of racism? I didn't discriminate against anyone. I don't believe certain races of people have inherent traits.
You're not funny.
Bro, I am so tired of this man trying to tell me what racism is.
Then fucking learn what racism is.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you have to pull out the definition of racism, you don't know what it is, and you have no business talking about race issues.
So by pulling up the literal meaning of racism, he doesn't know anything about racism? That makes absolutely no sense.
Like, you're basically admitting to not understanding the complexities and nuances of racism and how it's evolved over time.
No, he just stole the definition.
And I don't expect Jar to fully grasp the concept of racism.
Then why criticize him for it?
He's a white dude in America. Like, when you're not part of a group of people, you're going to be more ignorant to their struggles.
Then why not teach him about said struggles?
This doesn't just go for race, this goes for anything, really. For example, me, a neurotypical person, is naturally going to be less knowledgeable about neurodivergency than Jar, who's on the spectrum.
True, but you're still allowed to have a say in it.
And before you pull identity politics, Ryder has autism.
I can do my best to educate myself and actually listen to neurodivergent people, but I'm always going to be less knowledgeable than someone who actually has to live these experiences.
You can be more knowledgeable if you actually talk to people.
And that's okay, but like, when you don't fully grasp the concept of something, it's okay to be quiet. Like,
he's a commentary channel. Speaking about topics is what he does.
Like, it's okay to just, mind your business and eat your food.
Since when was food brought into this?
Anyway, back to the racism definition. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that using the dictionary definition is completely valid.
Yeah, that's literally the definition.
Jar completely skipped over the first definition.
Okay, well, he didn't do any of those things.
Like, in my personal opinion, he knew it could be argued that he fit within it, so he just skipped it entirely.
So now you're making assumptions and pushing them as fact. Great.
Criticizing and belittling black folks and other minorities who talk about racism.
You mean giving constructive criticism?
Telling us that we don't know what racism is.
Because you don't.
Arguing with minorities about racial slurs. Doing blackface.
Which he didn't do blackface.
Like, I don't know about y'all, but to me, personally, that counts as antagonism.
Okay, but it's not racism.
At the very least, these are microaggressions that need to be addressed.
You ironically use the term microaggression. That's hilarious.
That term is so much of a joke that South Park made it into a fucking game mechanic.
Well, maybe I do somewhat. White people do burn in the sun faster than black people. I don't know what the end goal of this whole race realism thing is.
Hold up, what did he just say?
I don't know what the end goal of this whole race realism thing is.
Did he just call black people not wanting him to use the N-word race realism?
No, he just said that he doesn't understand the end goal of race realism. Hell, I don't even know what that means.
Like, bro, what are you talking about? For those of you who don't know, race realism is just like a repackaging of scientific racism.
That explains literally nothing.
It's the belief that certain races are inherently superior or inferior solely due to their race.
So, racism. Why not just call it racism?
Basically, racists and white supremacists didn't like being called what they were, so they took up calling themselves race realists. Because, thinking minorities are automatically born stupid is just a logical belief, I guess. I don't know if Jar accidentally misused this term, or if he genuinely believes that not wanting non-black people to use the N-word is race realism.
If we're going off of your definition, he could be just referring to the people who use race realism and not as detractors. Yeah, it was irrelevant to bring up, but he wasn't referring to you.
Either way, this term should have never been used in this context. Again, Jar has editors. Why did no one catch this?
No, I decided to watch a lot of videos about why the N-word was offensive, and I don't think I can grasp it. It might be because I'm not black, and as much as I hate identity politics, black people and white people fundamentally do have different experiences.
Okay, first off, I do want to give him props for at least trying to educate himself, because that's definitely the step in the right direction, so good on you for that. But your unwillingness to grasp the concept of not using slurs that aren't used to dehumanize you has nothing to do with you being white. I'm not Asian, Hispanic, Mexican, a gay man, or a trans person, but guess what? I never use any of those slurs, and I never will, because I understand that it's not mine to use.
Yeah, but it's still the intent, not the word.
And y'all, the irony of Jar saying I can't grasp it because I'm white after the type of content he made isn't lost on me. It's just, y'all, I'm so tired. Like, breaking down ignorance is exhausting.
The reason why the N-word is more okay for black people to use is because it's ingrained in their pop culture. Just look at rap music.
What? Bro, no, you're telling me you watched all those videos and you still got this wrong? Also, is that Eminem?
Yeah, he's a rapper, isn't he?
Well, I don't think my life is going to be ruined over this. I don't think it's right to try to ruin someone's life over it. I don't think I'm racist, but I can be ignorant and say things that are offensive. I'm just going to apologize because, honestly, not saying a word anymore is not that big of a deal. Do I think saying sorry will stop the mob? No. Is it going to be a mark of my reputation for a very long time? Yeah. Are people going to put me in those YouTubers who have used the N-word compilation videos? Probably.
Okay, hold on, honey, because this is a lot to unpack, and I have been neglecting my bingo sheet.
Oh, don't worry. I'll take care of that. Libra?
Here you go.
Wait, she can use black magic too?
Well, she is black after all.
In my personal opinion, the language used here is very telling. People who are offended by what I said, nah, they're mob.
Pretty much.
People holding me accountable for my actions, nah, it's a mark of my reputation and y'all trying to ruin my life.
Yes, it is.
Also, remember there are N-word compilation videos, so remember, I'm not the only one who's done this, and it's not that bad. That's what that clip is giving me, but again, that's just me, and I could just be looking too deep into things.
Sounds like it.
I didn't fully grasp the consequences when I said it, but as the old saying goes, ignorance is bliss. I think both black and white people need to stop saying the N-word, because if black people don't stop saying it, then white people are not going to stop saying it. It is a double standard that black people can say it and white people can't say it, but hey, some double standards will always exist. But of course, Prismate Luke has to even exaggerate this point, saying, I've said it multiple times in multiple videos, trying to make me sound as bad as he possibly can. But for some reason, he doesn't have a problem with people like Turkey Tom or Pyrocynical using it, but it's bad when I use it for some reason.
Okay, so a couple things. First off, I personally don't buy that Jar didn't grasp the consequences of saying the N-word, because he knew black people had a problem with this.
Yes, but he also knew that black people should know the difference between intent not word.
The iDoes video proved that. Second, the argument that black people have to stop saying it first, I just don't agree with. We didn't create the N-word. We made lemonade out of the lemons y'all gave us, but suddenly we're responsible for getting rid of the word.
Did she just try to use the "your people did this to my people 100 years ago" argument?
Seems like it.
Like, bro, do you really think if black people collectively stop saying nigga, then we stop being called
No, because you can't ban a word. But if you were to, then everyone has to stop saying it.
Like, that's the reason why we say it, because we know it's never going away. It's our way of taking away some of that power. I love how Jar claims to have watched all these videos about the N-word, one of which is literally called the N-word double standard, but he's still willfully ignorant about this topic. Hi, future me here. I forgot to mention that there are black folks that do agree with Jar here, and that's completely valid. Every black person feels differently about the N-word, and there's nothing wrong with that, like...
Yet when people defend him, you tell them to don't do that.
It has a dark history, and it's still a slur at the end of the day. I will be blunt and say that I personally do not care about non-black opinions on anti-black slurs. If it's not directed at your people, then you don't get to dictate the usage.
Just more the same identity politics from her.
Third, I really don't know enough about what he's referring to, Pyro and the Turkey Kid. All I will say is that all y'all can be racist together. Fourth, even you don't know how many times you said the word, so I really don't think it's fair to accuse Luke of lying.
It's not a lie, but it's a half-truth.
It's not the word, it's the intent.
And fifth, while we're on topic of slurs, you still need to address the usage of coon and what your collab partner said.
Okay, but coon is a slur directed towards black people, so couldn't it also just be a part of his apology for him saying nigga? Also, the other time was his collab partner. Why is that Jar's responsibility?
Like, those are also slurs.
A lot of people told me they wanted to defend me from Prismate Luke's video, but because I said the hard RN word, they were afraid to. So I just want to say, sorry for saying the hard RN word.
I mean, it's good he apologized, but it's like he negated his apology within his apology when he admitted he would continue to use the word.
He said he would use it only if his black friends were okay with it.
Like, I'm honestly flabbergasted. Like, I've never seen anything like this. And over 4,000 people thought this was okay.
He got angry at Kai and Omnia because they talked about how he shouldn't talk about racially charged issues, and especially what he said, as a white person, you can say anything, like any race.
Number one, it was Kai, not Kai and Omnia. And two, what they said was, you shouldn't tell people not to talk about racially charged issues when they want to. Now granted, I did misunderstand this point, but I did talk about this already in my Hopeless Peaches video.
I'm sorry for calling Kai a racist. I really thought he was trying to make the person, who I'm not going to name in this video because she asked me not to and I'm going to respect her wishes, look like a racist. Their point about Kai was certainly poorly worded, but I thought Kai was trying to say that she shouldn't have made this point because she's white, when she isn't white, and how I responded to it, starting off with, shut the fuck up bro, that's actually racist, really wasn't cool.
I will say that it's good that he apologized for this. I'm assuming this is from the Peaches video that I missed, I'm not really sure. But to anyone who's watched the video, can y'all let me know if he ever apologized for calling Omnia a racist black woman?
He did.
That was a lot.
He has multiple videos of just having blackface versions of himself.
black versions of me. No, it's just in the same art style. And the guy I made it for, who by the way is actually black, was over the moon about it. Now I don't blame Luke for this, but some people got the impression that this was me, and we don't even sound similar.
You can't say it's another character because one of them he literally says is just him blackface.
You need to shut up!
I literally did not say that. Stop lying about me, Luke.
And that black avatar you saw, that's not what I look like. My artist just took a guess as to what I looked like and drew that. I was holding on to it, and I didn't really know what to do with it until today. So again, this is not what I look like. Now I'm not saying I'm not black, but I'm also not saying I am black.
That didn't prove shit. Where in that sentence was blackface even mentioned?
You're not funny.
Bro, that's you admitting to blackface.
Where was blackface even mentioned in that sentence?
I'll admit that it was poor research on Luke's part regarding the Professor Dreadlocks bit, but to act like you didn't do blackface and admit to blackface is just...
Where? Show me where.
I honestly believe it was manipulative on Jar's part to only focus on the Dreadlocks bit.
He didn't. He said it was just a black avatar.
Like, because he knew he couldn't justify the Just a King video. The only time he talked about it was in his My Response video, and even then he said he didn't think it was blackface.
Because it isn't.
Jar removed this video from his channel, but it bothers me how he lied by omission and just honed in on Luke's mistake because he knew he could get away with it.
Even though he brought up the black avatar briefly? Also, the way you're talking about Jar is just the least charitable interpretation of his actions.
But also, it's something that he's kept a tradition of using blackface characters.
Oh my god, I explained this in my last video. It wasn't me who put it up, it was my editor. I am partially responsible for not catching it and taking it out. But it wasn't me, it was my editor.
No, you're not partially responsible. You're fully responsible.
It was the work of his editor. How the hell is Jar responsible for the stuff the people he hired does? If a Tesco employee were to cuss me out, am I gonna blame Tesco as a whole? No, because it was the person they hired's fault, not the company.
Those editors represent you.
No, they just work for him.
They're editing your video for your channel. Stop trying to shift blame. You are responsible for the content put on your channel. The moment you hit the upload button, that's your reputation on the line. People don't look at a video and think, oh, this is insert editors here video.
True, but they know that often editors take liberties when editing for YouTubers.
In one of his Peaches videos, I can't remember which one or if it's even still around, but I remember he said he misses things. And I'm like, you missed that big ass, loud ass, black ass SpongeBob?
Yeah, like he said, he misses things.
Multiple times?
Jar has no intentions to put anything like that in his videos. His editors do what they want to do. They put what they want to put in the video. That's just how it's always been. Every editor since Toby, Josh, Lemmy, me, all the editors have a free will to put what they want in the video. So this is completely on my bad. And I do want to mean this. I do not intend it to be racist or anything remotely shape or form at all with that. And to give the brief context of why it was there, but basically, the reason why the black SpongeBob was put there was just because I thought Jar kind of sounded like SpongeBob. And I had that black SpongeBob from the race bending video I did for Jar. I re-edited the race bending video and did a bunch of thumbnails for him.
People keep saying, why didn't he just use a normal SpongeBob? It was saved over from the race bending video. Everybody was ignoring what I have up on screen.
Okay, first thing. Y'all remember the homework I gave? Remember how Jar criticized Luke for cutting seconds in his video to save time?
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
You're not funny.
It takes like 2 seconds to Google a SpongeBob picture.
True, but it's not as funny if it's just a normal one.
You want to get on Luke about being lazy when y'all can't even take the time to do a simple Google search.
People keep saying, why didn't he just use a normal SpongeBob? It was saved over from the race bending video.
Wow, Jar, that's a lame excuse. You won't get a normal SpongeBob picture to save a little bit of time?
Yeah, just like how you won't watch Jar's video for the sake of your arguments.
Second thing, Jar stated that this editor no longer works for him and that he's going to communicate with them better in the future, which is good.
Then why bring it up if the problem has been solved?
But it's like, why would you ever think giving strangers free reign over your channel will work out well for you, you know?
They weren't strangers.
They were fans he hired.
Third, intention doesn't change the result. Like, you posted a black SpongeBob when reading a black person's comment.
Boo-hoo, someone made fun of you. Big whoop.
In a mocking tone. Like, it doesn't matter how you intend it, it was still disrespectful. And I love how all this is somehow our
Yup.
Yes, shame on our audience for thinking getting a regular SpongeBob picture is a simple task.
Yes, shame on you for slandering someone over a fucking joke.
And here's what Toby Tron, who is a black guy, had to say about it.
Thank you so much for bringing me on for this video. I would like to say that the editor did not have any ill intentions in this video. He did not mean to hurt people. I myself am African American, and I feel no real hatred or ill intentions in this video. It was extremely inappropriate joke, but I've known this guy for years, and he would never make any kind of joke like this. He actually, in fact, condemns people who are legitimately racist and say racist jokes. It is not his intentions to be racist.
Not to be confused with Toby, the one the drama's about. Toby Tron is a completely different person.
Okay, you know what? I'm tired, and Toby Tron was the last straw.
Aww, someone's sad that even fellow black folks won't agree with her. God, you're pathetic.
You smiled.
See, I told you he could do it.
I guess I owe Virgo 1000 hell.
Yup.
Looks like you finally had it in ya. Oh, shut up.
I'll just be repeating everything I said before, so this is a pretty good place to stop. Intention doesn't change the result, black people defending you doesn't negate our criticism of you, etc., same old, same old. You know, it's extremely concerning how the commentary community just gave this video and Jar's blatant racism a pass for
He isn't racist. If you knew it was happening for years, why speak now and not then?
That's all for today. She has a part 2 planned, but we'll get to that when we can. For now, let's just get drunk and play the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Food first. You have to feed me before you poison me.
Alright, I'll make some sandwiches then. Anyways, until next time, goodbye.